your God power. Get everything you ever wanted and live the life of your dreams. The Master's Course. Copyright 2010 by Richard Lee McKim Jr. All rights reserved. Let the quest for knowing begin. Chapter 6. The Power of Labels. The power of labels cannot be overemphasized because the main purpose of a label is to convey meaning. When you think, speak, or physically label something, you are assigning it a meaning. We know from the video example of the dog who knew his owner was coming home and the video examples of the plants who exhibited consciousness that you are sending out meaning to the universe all the time, whether you are aware of it or not. Both the dog and the plant were able to sense the meaning that applied to them and responded appropriately. As strong as your momentary transmissions of meanings into the universe are, labels have a more lasting influence and can have more dramatic results. You have domain over everything in your life experience as it pertains to you. This includes everything from your body and your kids to things like your computer and your car. Yes, you can and do have influence over the workings of mechanical objects as well as over situations and events that don't have a physical aspect. While you cannot assign meaning to another's experience, you can assign meaning in every single bit of yours. Before we get into all the labels that you use on a daily basis, let's see some examples of the effects of labels. Can water sense meanings? Not only can dogs and plants sense meanings, but it seems that water also has the ability to respond to meanings as well. If we were to use a microscope and look closely enough at water, could we see the actual differences in the water itself? The answer is yes. However, it is not in the way the water looks. It is in the way that the water behaves that the difference is evident. So, how do we get the water to behave? That's simple. The essence of the water's characteristics become evident when it freezes and crystallizes. The actual procedure is to expose the water to the meaning and then freeze it. The way the water crystallizes while frozen is a direct result of the meaning it has absorbed. The video example below shows Dr. Emoto's own research and the results that he has obtained. Video example: water absorbs meaning. What is this video about? In this video example, Dr. Emoto shows his results from the various experiments with water. It is clearly evident that the water has the ability to absorb and react to meanings that have been imposed on it or that the water has been exposed to. In each of the pictures in this video, you will see the crystallized results of various words, sounds, and other exposures on water. It's quite enlightening.
For best results, pause this video at this point here, and watch the video example mentioned in the segment. The links are located in the book chapter, and at the end of the book. If you are watching this online, you will find the link for this video example listed in the notes section. Then, after watching the associated video example, continue watching this video from here.
The water was placed into different jars with labels of words placed on the outside. Some of the labels said thank you or I love you, while others said I hate you or I want to kill you. Other water samples were exposed to beautiful music and images. After a certain period of time or exposure, the water was frozen, and then the resulting crystals were examined with a powerful microscope. The water that was exposed to positive words or music crystallized in beautiful snowflake-like shapes and designs, while the water that had been labeled with negative words or impressions failed to crystallize and looked quite disgusting in color and form. What does this example show, and what does it mean? This video example shows that water has a very real and noticeable reaction and response to meanings. The beautiful crystals that resulted from the happy water are clearly different from the ugly-looking water that responded to the negative meanings. This experiment clearly shows that meanings, whether they are conveyed in the form of words, music, or pictures, alter and influence water for the better or the worse. Meanings are the basis of reality. If you ascertain the meaning of any situation, you will have the reality of that situation. If you change the meaning of that situation, you will have changed the reality of that same situation. Meaning and reality go hand in hand. It is interesting that water is affected by meaning. Water is commonly called H2O, which means a molecule consisting of 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. This would lead us to generalize and say that any molecule can and does respond to meaning. And if every molecule, why not every atom? What is the difference? What I am saying to you is that everything in the universe has meaning, and you have the power to alter those meanings, no matter if they are a water molecule, or an atom, or a machine, or a situation. You have domain over your world. You have the power to make it heaven or hell for you. Just to be clear on how this meaning thing works, the water still has the meaning that created it as water. It's just that now it has an additional meaning that alters the meaning to good water or bad water. If the actual meaning of the water itself was changed, it could become wine or dirt. If water has the ability to respond and absorb meanings, and it does, what happens to the things that drink water and absorb the water? Could there be a difference that we could see? What would happen if we took some cooked rice or spaghetti, for example, which holds lots of water, and somehow gave meaning to it? What would happen? Obviously, the meaning would be absorbed into the water. What kind of a result would that or could that have? Dr. Emoto devised an experiment to demonstrate the dramatic differences that meanings can have. This experiment and the next video example can be repeated again and again with the same results. In fact, it would be a good idea for you to replicate this experiment on your own to further bolster your knowing on this matter.
To continue, go to How to Use Your God Power, Chapter number 6, Segment number 2. Let your quest for knowing continue.